Hello, hello. Welcome everybody to another prosperity tip episode. This is number 27. And in today's video, I'm going to be talking about, actually, I want to ask you a question and then I'll talk about it a little bit. Is what do you pay your kids to do? I'm actually curious to know your answers, whether you're watching this live or on the replay. What do you pay them to do? Do you pay them for chores? Do you pay them for taking out the trash? Do you pay them? What do you do? What do you pay your kids to do? And then also, if you're on the replay, let me know your answers too. I really genuinely want to know all of your answers. So let me know what your thought is on this, and I'm going to give you guys my thoughts and what I actually learned. So, and before I do that, though, I just want to give a couple shout outs. If you're on here live with me, drop a comment. Let me know where you're coming in from. So we've got Heavenly Bridge Groom Music. Welcome. Hello. We've got Bill Fever in the house. We have got reciprocity is the factor of attraction marketing. Just learned that. Thank you, Bill, for that comment. We got Nick in the house. We got Janine in my house. Never paid the kids. Awesome. Cool. Actually, my kids are grown and funny thing. Okay, cool. So I'm going to get to Rita Joy's in the house. Cool. So I'm going to get to your guys' comments and your guys' answers here in just a moment. So I'll come back to that. So I just want to get into the content today. And then again, let me know what you pay your kids to do in the comments below. I actually genuinely want to know. And I'll come back to your comments at the end. So here is what was happening. So I was actually at a lunch, and it was a luncheon. And during this luncheon, while we were eating, they had a guest speaker come out and share. His name was John Maxwell. And I was at this Ray Higdon event. I'm pretty sure you guys have heard of it. It was all over the internet, right? Faith over fear event. But anyway, so I was at this luncheon. There's John Maxwell. He's over there. And people were able to ask him questions during this lunch. And so one lady stood up and said, do you have any advice for a 16-year-old starting a business, like wanting to get into doing a business? And so he went on to say that, so John, he's like, if you don't know who he is, he's written hundreds of books, I think. He is probably the number one person on leadership, more sales and on leadership and influence on leadership than anyone else in the world. So very, very big into leadership, right? So this was the question to him. And he said, so my advice, and he gives this to everybody. He's like, starting a personal growth journey, like literally reading a book every day, like reading books every single day, and just really start getting that knowledge even at a young person. If kids could read more every single day, like good books every day, like that would be the best thing a kid could do to actually become financially free later, or to build a business later. And because he's like, there's so many people who don't do that, right? And so that was one of his things. And then he also went on to say, he's like, in fact, when I was a kid, my dad, and his dad was pretty wise, obviously, his dad would not pay him for any chores. Like he literally paid for no chores. And he'd come home and he'd be like, Dad, my friends are all getting paid to do all this housework. What the heck? Like, why aren't you paying me to do chores? And he's like, because you do chores because you're part of the family. That's why you do chores, because you're part of the family. Right. And he also didn't pay him to take out the trash, because he was teaching him to become, a garbage man if you do that. Or he didn't pay him to do anything that he feels was not worthwhile for the future. What did he do? What did he pay him on? He actually paid his kids to read books. He paid them to read books, to read good books. And he paid them the worth of the book. So if the book was worth $30 to buy it on Amazon or whatever, he would pay the kids to read that book. Once they read the book and shared, what they learned from it, you would get $30. Then he would have another book and he would pay them, and he would get another, $20. And then so he paid his kids to read books. He didn't pay his kids to do chores. He didn't pay his kids to take out the trash. He paid them to read books. And so think coming from someone who is like literally the number one guy on leadership of all time, right? Millions and millions and millions of books sold. You would think you can kind of see why that, because it started at a kid. He was at literally as a kid, he was already on the personal growth journey, reading good books, and he was incentivized to do that. And so I was thinking about that, and I really thought that was a great idea, because I was actually paying we have this little coin system, and every time, one of the kids would do they would do their kitchen part, or they would do their front, like we'd have these sections that rotate, and then they would do the room. They get a coin each time, and each coin is worth like 50 cents. So it was just like, so they would do all these things every single day, and I was paying them to do that. We pay them to mow the lawn. We do all these different things, right? And I was just thinking about that, like when he said that, I had this idea. I'm going to change that. I'm literally going to change it, because I feel that that's so important. Because if I would have been on a personal growth journey when I was a kid, I guarantee I would have become an entrepreneur a lot faster. I would have had, it's almost like a shortcut, right? Because I waited till I don't know, I didn't start really reading books until 2017. And I was born in 81. So you do the math there, right? I was probably in my 30s right by then, right? I don't know. Actually, I don't know. I'd have to do the math. But yeah, I think it would be probably, in my 30s before I really started doing personal growth. Imagine if I did personal growth at 16, 15, 14, 10. Like, think about that for a second. If you got your kids on a personal growth journey early on in life, how much farther would they be than you when you started doing it? And we all know that we should be doing this. Like, isn't that interesting? Like, we literally, all of us know. How many times have we been told we should be reading every single day? How many times have you been told that? Well, why are we not teaching our kids to do that? Or maybe they're just reading fictional books. Why aren't we telling them to, or encouraging them to read good books, right? Books that will help them in the future. And so I actually changed that. Last night I came home, and we had a discussion as a family, and we went over the new rules and the new way that we pay our kids. And so we're still going to pay them for outside work, because that's a lot harder than the inside work. So we're still paying them for that kind of stuff. But we're also going to pay them for the books they read. And we put the amounts together, and if they're really long books, we'll pay them a little bit more for those books. And as long as it's like a non-fictional type of book, not like a fiction book, we are literally going to do that. We're going to implement that exact thing. And I kid you not, it was the coolest thing in the world. My daughter was like all excited. She got way more excited because some of these books were worth like 20, 30 bucks or whatever. And so she got all excited because she's in debt right now because she broke a couple things. And so she's been trying to pay off this debt to us. And she's been so depressed about it, and we're just like, hey, just keep doing jobs, keep doing these different things to earn it. And when I told her she can start earning money from reading books, she just lit up because she really likes education, which is weird because she's the only one in my whole family that likes that. Maybe my older daughter too. I don't know. Maybe it's the girls or something. The girls like it. The boys hate it. But yeah, so she just lit up, and she ran down to my office, and she just started going through the books, and she picked up the magic. So So she's literally reading The Magic by Rhonda Byrne. And I just thought that's so cool that one little insight is creating positive changes in our own family. And so you never know what you're going to learn from leaders. You never know what you're going to implement, but that was definitely one that I'm going to implement. And then my other son, he grabbed Money Master the Game by Tony Robbins. It's like a 600-page book. I'm like, okay, well, and I gave him a little like more incentive to read it because it's really long. But yeah, so they're all picking these books out now and all excited about making money reading. Like, how cool is that? Like, they're excited to make money by reading good books. And so I don't know, it was just something, a new insight to me. In fact, they'll probably make more money than they were doing chores by doing this anyway. And so I think it's a cool thing. And I don't know what you guys do, what your guys' thoughts are on this concept, but I would love to know your thoughts on this. But yeah, it was a great insight. So anyway, I'm gonna go to your guys' thoughts real quick. Let me know, and we'll go from there. So Respro, okay, already answered. Already got that one. Okay, Nick says actually. Okay, I already read that one. Yeah, no problem, or my pleasure. Okay, here we go. In Chinese culture, we don't pay kids to do chores in the family. Awesome. Yeah, that was literally, I implemented that last night. so we no longer do that either. And now we picked other things. So we picked a few different areas that they can still make money in. One of them is reading books. Another is helping us with our businesses, things like that. So I think it'll be cool. Sorry, my throat is getting clogged there. Okay. All right. So Peter says, hey. Ashley says, I don't typically pay my kids to do their normal chores, but on occasion, big chores. Yeah, so that's what I used to do too. Like if I didn't want to do something, I'll pay them to do it for me. Like I think that's still okay. Like if you're supposed to be doing something and you don't want to do it, then that's kind of like a cool incentive for sure. You paid your daughter to help you with some math. Awesome. Christian says, watching live from Dallas. Okay, thank you. Gave my daughter an allowance when she was growing up, but I still spoil her. Nice. Parents do not pay me for home chores, but ranch work I was paid. Nice. Yeah. One of the things is we're still going to be paying people for outside outside work because that's a lot harder. But anyway, cool. All right. Christian says, thank you for sharing knowledge and gain. Thank you. That's awesome. Love that. I like that idea. And yeah, and these are things that you can implement at any time in your life. Like if you no longer have kids anymore, you can pass this knowledge on to other people who do. And that's another thing to think about. Like because John, so I was at Ray Higdon's event. John Maxwell was there. He told me this concept. Now I have this concept in my heart. And I was kind of getting emotional, like when I was thinking about it, which means I'm, doing something right. So I had this concept, and now I am doing this video, sharing this concept with you. And so you see how how knowledge can just continue to flow and pass and help other people. So I was even thinking about that. Well, like, what if someone doesn't have kids anymore and you've already, it's too late, right? It's not too late because you can still pass this information on and you can share this with other people. You see what I'm saying? So anyway, also just real quick, side note, if you guys want to go over to this website right here, I actually have some cool free resources for everybody today. You want to go to seekprosperity.com. I have a whole bunch of free resources, and you can download these checklists that I have, the 5G marketing plan checklist, 21 video ideas. So I don't know if you're trying to build a business from home, make money from home, but we have some resources for you there for free right there. We also have a residual income machine that you can check out. All that is on my page at seekprosperity.com. Feel free to check those resources out. So let's go back to the comments real quick. All right. Gotta make sure. All right, so I'm gonna scroll up. Okay, so I'd be excited too. Nice. My daughter is like that as well. Hey, awesome. Okay, really love that. I could get paid to read. Yes. I mean, think about that too. Like if you teach your kids that books and knowledge is worth money, like think about like unconsciously what that'll do for people. And so later on in life, they'll probably respect it a little bit more, if their parents are willing to spend money for them to read books, like it's putting value on them, versus not. I've got 2 boys that love books. That's cool. I love the idea. And I never read it as a kid either. So this is something like new to me. This is a new concept to even me. Like if I would have had this, who knows where I would, how much better reader I would be and better at personal development. I believe an excellent idea. Teach capitalism. Yes, the entire trajectory of your kid's future because you decided to implement this great idea. Thank you, Linda. We always wanted Becca to focus on herself. College, did a good job. Jim wanted to pay her so much. Best version. We've been. All right, cool. Thank you, Christy, for sharing. Bill says, my grandson is struggling. Yeah, there we go. And that's another thing too, is maybe you can pass this on to your grandkids, like you as a grandpa paying them, versus the parents, like that would be a cool thing. Kids, but I was one when I was little. I got weak for chores. Unfortunately, there's times I didn't get allowance. Yeah, exactly. Cool. All right. Hello. And there's a last comment here. Great value to share. Paying kids to read, expand their knowledge. Yes, cool. Oh, actually, a couple more. Here we go. I'm going to give their grandma a call now. Nice. All right. Agree that we can read books. I learned that from John as well. But my kids read like crazy without me. That's cool. Yeah. And that's the thing too, is once you've developed that, like once they already develop it, and I didn't do this with my older daughter, but she turned out fine. She's on a church mission. She loves to read. She loves to, all these things. But there's some kids that need it. They need a incentive. They need that influence to get that habit going. So she did fine, but she read a lot of fictional books too. Like would have been better to read, more personal development type stuff mixed in there somewhere too. That's one thing I could have probably done a little bit better, encouraging that kind of stuff. All right, maybe if I pay, that would be overcome my reading. Yeah, for sure. All right. Cool. So anyway, with that, guys, thank you for showing up for this live. I do these every now and then. I don't do them every day, but I do them all week long, typically a couple times a week at least. So make sure to go to seekprosperity.com, get on my email list if you want me to email out the replays or email you other valuable resources. And then follow me on social media and we'll connect and we'll be able to you'll see these as they go live over there. So with that, make it a wonderful day and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.